So, Damien, one of the things that I think we have in common is that nobody really knows how to describe what you do and what I do in a way that's consistent across the board.
Yeah.
So when people describe you, when they say, well, Damien is this, what do they say?
Well, what people say is I'm a rock singer. See, I generally have the problem that people want to know what it is you do and then you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like that musicians are supposed to make music and filmmakers are supposed to make films. And if you actually just go out and make things the way they are made today, they often don't fit in any of those categories. Right. And so there's no terms for them and people get kind of mad when they're like, but you're a musician.
That's the thing. So, I mean, we're not here to talk about millennials because I think people are just sick of talking about millennials, especially the people who go to
If you work at Viacom,
and if you work at Cannes, you're probably sick of talking about it or hearing about it. But I will say this, like, as millennials flood our workforce, they come in not believing that they play one position, right? It's like, I'm not a second baseman or a shortstop, I'm an athlete. Because I grew up learning how to do all these things. So don't call me like this thing. I'm actually a lot of things.
Which I think is a super productive way to work. It's very hard to structure a company based on that.
It is. It can be schizophrenic, I think, to try and manage it too.
So how do you describe what you do?
The group that I run, which is called Scratch, is largely an effort to use the superpowers of this awesome media company, Viacom, in new ways. What we're doing is sort of opening up the API and unlocking so much of the value that we've really kept to ourselves for a long time, right? So we're enabling brands, artists, partners to work with us in ways they haven't been able to before, which is really exciting, right? So yes, we offer amazing reach and connection to especially young people all around the world. Yeah. And now you can use us to get so much closer to your consumers than ever before, and also to get such a better understanding of your consumer than ever before.
When creativity is really like going on all cylinders, it is sort of responding to the chaos as it comes, right? And I feel like your company, Scratch, it sounds like that's sort of your business model too.
It's built to respond. It's built to respond to the needs of our consumers, of our own company, and of our partners.
When I feel most creative, it generally feels a little bit like free fall. There's like this, you don't know where you're headed towards something awesome, and you're discovering what it is along the way. I mean, like if in songwriting, for instance, if you set out to like, I want to write a stadium rock anthem, what you'll get is something that sounds kind of like a stadium rock anthem, but is a little bit uninspired, or at least if I'm writing it, that's what'll happen. If I start out with a bunch of sounds and start throwing them together and then chase the path of the combination that was most emotional and exciting, I have no idea where that's going to go. I thought I wanted to make a stadium rock anthem, and instead I wrote like a soul ballad, but it's genuine, right? Like
it's so true. It's like a pitcher never throws a strike if he's aiming.
Do you have a definition of creativity? Do you know what is creativity?
To me, creativity is making something new. And it really is broad as that. And so it's a little bit tough and incompatible sometimes with the business objective of a marketer.
Yeah, to me, it's the hunger to make something new. Because creativity leads, like, at least in my experience, like what you have to plan on is, I'm going to go out 10 directions and like sonar, some things are going to bounce back. And then from each of those, I'm going to go out 10 directions, and some things are going to bounce back. And then you're going to wind up somewhere really genuinely new. But it's the creativity is actually the sending of all those things out.
But there's something, when it comes to marketing, there's a little bit of a different challenge. And I think Cannes has become a place that celebrates people who are taking these kinds of risks. Like last year at Cannes, you win like 7 lions, and I think 3 of them were gold lions. The brands who have chosen to work with you, who are some of the most progressive marketers in the world, they know they can't afford to play defense. They have to go out and do something that may be a little bit outside of their comfort zone. They don't exactly know where it's going to end up. But they do know that if they're working collaboratively in the right spirit with the right people, there's a great chance that they're going to be able to go somewhere unique and special And I feel like that's the case with you guys and your brand and the brands you've worked with.
Absolutely. Almost every interview that I do is someone asking me, like, so why did you decide to make these videos, or how did you decide to change the relationship between the different things you're doing? And I'm like, I didn't just, it was what was there to do. It's like the world changed and we were making things in the new world.
I think what we have just naturally, very organically found ourselves in the middle of is our own excitement about the creative challenge for driving business. Like how you can use awesome creativity to drive revenue. At our best, our networks become much more than TV channels, just like you're much more than a band.